Are the Minnesota Vikings the best team in the National Football League? After a convincing win against Houston Texans, it's not an absurd take anymore. In this video, we're going to talk about it. The fact that Sam Darnold's balling out and getting MVP chance in the building, Brian Flores' defense being led by former Houston Texans, and the future of this team is not set in stone. Sam Darnold thrived on Sunday afternoon, and it wasn't without a little bit of controversy. Now, controversy may not be the right word, but it definitely gave some hesitant thoughts in the building. Darnold was accidentally hit low by Houston Texans edge rusher Danielle Hunter, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings, and he went off with a knee injury. Now, he did come back one play later, and he came out to chants with a rousing ovation from the crowd, with some of them saying, MVP. We're only 3 weeks into the year, but maybe Sam Darnold is the leading MVP candidate in the National Football League. ESPN's Ryan Clark took to Twitter and seemed to agree that Darnold was the MVP frontrunner and the Vikings were the class of the National Football League. And it's easy to see why. Through 3 games, Sam Darnold has 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and has led 22, 6, and 27-point victories. Having those kind of victories through a 3-game stretch to start the year is really good, especially when one of them is a Super Bowl frontrunner in the Texans, and another is the defending Super Bowl participants in the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. Having Sam Darnold play at this kind of level is such a benefit for the Minnesota Vikings this year, but also long-term. JJ McCarthy took to Twitter saying that Sam can ball. And look, he's right. Sam is balling. And what they're doing on offense is truly impressive because Kevin O'Connell is a genius play caller. We knew this, but he's taken things to a different level. And one of the reasons he's taken them to a different level is because of the personnel that he has. And we're going to talk about that a little later. But the personnel on defense has been even more important than some of the pieces on offense. This was a big revenge game for multiple players, as the Vikings had at least 5 players, to my count, that have played for the Houston Texans, but none of them bigger than Jonathan Grenard. The Texans let him walk in free agency, and he agreed to a deal with the Minnesota Vikings really quickly in free agency. 4 years, $76 million. It also meant Danielle Hunter moved on to the Houston Texans, so they essentially did a 1-for-1 swap. And one of the big things with Jonathan Grenard's contract, it's less than Hunter's, so the Vikings are paying $5 million less for him and arguably getting better production. He's an incredible fit with this defense. On the first play of the game, he got in CJ Stroud's face and caused the pressure. Second play of the game, he was getting penetration before Harrison Phillips batted down the pass. And another former Texan, Kamu Grugier-Hill, got the interception, set up the first Vikings touchdown. Great stuff. Not only that, but Grenard was all over the place on Sunday. And he finished the day with 3 tackles for loss, 4 tackles as a whole, and 3 sacks. Once Pro Football Focus puts out their pressure numbers, I would guess he had at least 6, maybe 7 or 8 on the day because he was wrecking things for that Houston Texans defensive line. But he wasn't the only one. Blake Cashman had a solid day. Grugier-Hill almost had a strip as well, but it's going to count as a pass defended because he knocked the ball out of Dalton Schultz's hands before he could make a football move. David Questenberry even got on the action when Brian O'Neill got dinged up, but he came back in the game pretty quickly. Things are looking really good for the Minnesota Vikings because of that defense. And they're going to look even better on offense because they're incredibly shorthanded as far as weapons. And they're still producing. This team has put up 23, 28, and 31 points. And not one of them did they have TJ Hawkinson. And they haven't had Jordan Addison for 9 of those quarters. What happens when they come back to full strength? They're already seen by some people in the National Football League and the media that they are the best team in the league because of how they played and how they've come out and been really, really good and beaten really, really good teams who are supposed to contend for a Super Bowl. They have to keep it up, but they're going to get reinforcements. Jordan Addison is likely going to be back in week 4 against the Green Bay Packers, and TJ Hawkinson is hopefully going to be back week 7, which is the first game after the bye, and that is when they take on the Detroit Lions. So if they get those guys back and they're able to help elevate things to another level with Sam Darnold, this could be a very dangerous team down the line. And a very dangerous Vikings team is scary for everybody. We know what happened in 2008. We know what happened in 2009. You can even go back to 2000 and 2017. All those teams felt like they were special. All those teams felt like they had something special brewing early in the season. The Vikings do too. Maybe we see another NFC Championship game appearance, and hopefully this one can take us to the next level. Tyler Forness with AZ Sports. Skol Vikings.